last night, and I mentioned it about Dorgu. I didn't think he had a great game. I don't think any of them had a great game. But it all changed when the substitutes come on. They all got up for it because they were on the front foot. But they were on the front foot with an attacker, with someone like Ahmad, who they knew was going to produce. So everyone sort of stepped it up. There was none of that negative looking back and all that. Do you know what I mean? And Dorgu was sort of like guilty of not like committing himself going down the wing because he was nervous. Everyone else was nervous, and he never had the backup. I thought they all could have done a lot better in that first hour. But listen, they showed the capabilities once them changes were made. Manchester United is an attacking side. It's very rarely that we're able to see Manchester United as a team go attacking. They do it in spits and spurts. What we want to see is the Manchester United of old. We want to get off our seats. We want to be excited. And hopefully, Ruben Amorim, once he takes this final and wins it in style, right, we'll be able to move on and produce an attacking, exciting football team where they're on the front foot and none of this, not too much negative, square passing the ball back. And Dorgu, the rest of them last night, nervous, they didn't get in the rhythm till late on. So I'm not over-criticising him because I understand the enormity of what we faced. Do we do this? Do we do that? They were unsure. Never mind the instructions what Ruben Amorim give him. You're out on that pitch and you're still not sure.
Kruna says success as an impact sub does not guarantee success as a starter. But some fans never learn or understand that. Sound a bit of a philosopher there, mate. A bit of an Eric Cantona inside you. Richard Club Sports says, "Shut up now, I can see why he was so highly rated before Ineos pounced and signed him." And there's a few people in the chat comparing him to even Raphael Varane, like Matt Stewart, etc. And I think we've still got to be calm on players like Yoro, Ahmad, even Garnacho, Mainu, etc. because they're still young, they're still developing, learning the trade, and you are going to get highs and probably extreme highs as well, but you're also going to come across some lows where they do have dips in form. It's just about trying to build a squad that's got quality in it so you can take these younger players out for 2 or 3 games and put them back in.
You're not guaranteed anything with any player, whether they're top level or not. You look at Mbappe, you look at Neymar for PSG, for instance, they were 2 world stars failed on the big stage. Okay? So you never guarantee with any player. And I go back to Yoro. I look at Yoro, I think he's a good player, but you know something? A lot of people haven't said this. He keeps getting put in different positions and he still keeps performing. Okay, I like the fella, but he needs to be able to cement place. And that's why I say when the changes are coming in the summer, people like Ahmad, for instance, where's he going to play? Dorgu, where's he going to play? But Yoro, okay, he needs to cement a place, and Amorim has to sort that out. It's a big puzzle. He's played on the left, he's played in the centre, he's played on the right. You know, and for me, I think he's done excellent for a player what's not nailed down a position because of the injuries and everything else what's going on in the club.
The thing is, for me, Yoro, he gives you something different. And again, you look at Maguire, his wing play over in Bilbao last week, but with Yoro, you're looking at it last night, where you can step up into midfield.
No, that's right.
Even in an attack into their 18-yard box with the ball. Looks comfortable, looks confident with it as well. Seen it with the Lyon game here at home, made a run forward. It was into Lee Sol, their midfielder captain. He got sent off as well, but I'm seeing more and more of that from Yoro, where we need that from one of the back three, who steps up into midfield, gives the extra man in there, so that the team can actually, keep that sustained attack as well.
Well, you want the back three to step up anyway, as a natural going forward to be on the front foot. What I'm saying is, I like everything about Yoro, but what I'd like more, right, is for him to cement a place. But that is going to come over time. Like I say, he's a young lad. The team is what the team is. We all know what it's like. It's up and down, right? And Ruben Amorim does like to put players in different positions to test them and that. So at the moment, in his development, Leny Yoro, I think it's good that he's being moved about. But at some point, he'll want to see a position. This is what I'm good at. And that's what I'd want to see. That might come in 12 months' time because of the situation with the changes coming in the summer. But for now, I think whatever happens to him and what I'm seeing with him, I think we've got an excellent footballer with someone with a football brain and carries himself well.
Yeah, he seems to, in my opinion anyway, I don't know about yours, I think Amorim prefers him on that left-hand side as a free, and it's going to be very interesting to see when Martinez comes back and recovers from his actual long-term injury, what goes on there. But you've got two very good players there who can be challenging for that one position. People might out there also add Luke Shaw to that as well if he's still here.
Well,
listen, 3 players for one position.
Yeah, I look at Lenny Yoro.
Aidan Heaven as well.
I look at him on the right, and that's what I'm saying. You've just mentioned Aidan Heaven, and we're forgetting, right? And we still might bring in another centre half. So it's all experimenting. But I just like to see players get in one position, what they're good at, and every now and again it might have to be used somewhere else. And I think that's what's happening to Lenny Yoro and many other players out there at the moment.
Rob, Always United, from our members club, says, I think Amad and Yoro are generational talents. Big words, mate. I don't really like always jumping on the bandwagon with them phrases, to be honest with you.
They've got the talent there to improve and be top-notch players. But, you know, we've just got to watch with these young players going forward, you know what I mean? They have got the talent, I've got to agree. You know, it might go wrong. Fingers crossed for them, do you know what I mean? But for now, what we're seeing is all encouragement, and that's what you want. And this team and these players are going to take time to gel. We're going to bring in players each year, changing it up. But they will gel on this show capability.
You would like to see, you know, with all the changes going on in the background at Manchester United, whether that also helps some of these youngsters to bring stability where, you know, they keep the feet on the ground as well, and the manager and the coaching staff got a big part to play in that. Even the fans as well, instead of just going overboard and hyping a player up too soon, where, you know, in the past, you know, young players have been given way too much money in contracts, made to feel like they've already made it at a football club, made it at a professional footballer. So let's hope the changes in the background, in what we hear all the time, in what Sir Jim Ratcliffe and we're trying to do in the background, let's hope that actually works and it keeps a lot of these players' feet on the ground, where they have to prove everything every single week in training, in the football games, instead of having a bit of a spell over a course of 2 to 3 months, and then they just drift off into the abyss.
I look at this with these young players. I was worried to be bringing them in this year into the carnage and chaos what we've seen, but I actually think it's done them the world of good, because they've not got cocky, they've not got overconfident in that. And the thing is, they've had to work hard. I mean, overly hard. Positions what they're not used to, running back, doing things they're not used to, and I think they've proved themselves. So when I look at it now, right, I look at it completely different. I think these players have excelled, okay, because of the work rate and the commitment. They're not up there giving it, I'm the big Charlie and all that. They're looking at it as if to say, I've got to work hard to get my position in this club, and that's what you want. And there's a lot of youngsters in there, but to be honest with you, I think they've really done well, and I think it's going to do them the world of good going forward next year.
Fred Grantham from our members club, I agree the players' positions have to be sorted and stability will follow in performances. And
in time,
there's one thing, despite the poor performances in the Premier League, and I've said it for a number of months now, in the past under certain managers, or all the managers post-Fergie, let's be honest with ourselves, it looks like there's been a majority of that dressing room who have down tools on managers, where the managers have ended up getting sacked. Despite the poor performances, I can't see any of the players in that squad who were down in tools or not fighting when they're given an opportunity on that pitch. Yes, they might not have the required quality, but in terms of work rate, wanting to win the ball, trying to carry out the instructions for the manager, I don't see any players not doing that. It's all trying, and that's something we've been lacking in this football club for many a year now. So I see that a positive for the actual manager going forward as well into next season, that we can actually carry that sort of momentum, that fight into next season, and obviously add the quality which is much needed in the summer.
I think the problem what we've got, right, there's still a lot of dead wood to get rid of in there. So to turn it round and that, and when people accuse players like of down in tools and that, right, I think we've got rid of them players. they've been earmarked to go and that. But you also got to look in the background and that. There's people with bad attitudes what have been getting paid in the background, men in suits, certain coaches, certain admin people and all that. And it's just gone right through that malaise. But what it is, Ruben Amorim sort of like put the law down. This is what you do. If you don't do it, you're out. And I think a lot of people have been put on notice that at the end of the season, they'll be out. But the chaos will still be there. It can't be got rid of in one summer. Talking to Ryan Giggs, he was talking about possibly 9 players he thought needed moving out. Well, at the end of the day, that takes a while, and he didn't describe that's going to take a while. So, being in the Europa League final, seeing these youngsters is all exciting at the moment, but I come back to reality, and the reality is lots of fans understand this is going to take time, and possibly a lot longer than the PR machine what keeps telling us it's 2028. But hey, you just never know, it might be quicker than I think and a lot of people think. But there's still a lot to do, there's still a lot of deadwood and everything in the background. But the players down in tools, no, players aren't down in tools going forward now. You see it. They're not given time to down tools, because as soon as they down tools, the manager's on them. He knows what's going on, and the law's laid down, and he won't have it. He just won't have it.
Yeah, don't get wrong, I've said many a week, many a month now, I expect to see improvement next season, but that's me just being honest. I don't expect real progress, and that's in terms of the way I look at that, in challenging and being around the top 4. I always think, and I've always said, it'll take 3 summer transfer windows to completely change this starting 11, actually build a squad, and that's most important, building a squad for a long, long season, where you're going to compete in, obviously, the domestic cup competitions, and hopefully Europe. But I do want to see improvement next season. I mean, you know, we could possibly finish 17th this season. It's not good enough, and
I think what it is with the improvement and that, yes, the manager's there, highly rated and everything, and he has to improve these players and that. But he's only got one player of his own, and that's Dorgu.
Evan as well.
Yeah. Evan's a young lad. He's come through there, but I'm saying going out there, getting a player, okay, of the stature what you need going forward. Heaven's there, right, to be brought through, a young player. Dorgu was brought in to be impact player straight in. That's how I'm looking at it. Okay, so he's got Dorgu, but managers want their players for 11 positions. That's how managers do it. So he's only got one. So how long is it it's going to be before he gets all the players he wants? That's why I'm saying I think possibly 3 years might be to get this team where it should be. Might be just a little bit too quick, to be honest with you.
Yeah, no, I understand that. Judging off my own opinion, I think it's 3 summer transfer windows. But Ruben Amorim, as we know, has only got a 2.5-year contract. That's the deal he signed at Manchester United, and I firmly believe that the people inside the football club, based on the performances in the Premier League this season, will want to see improvement.
Yes, I agree.
We all week on week in the Premier League, and let's have it right, as fans, we do want to be entertained, because it's been a very, very poor season. So if we can get that, some momentum, I mean, just to win back-to-back Premier League games next season, I mean, that's not too much to ask here, is it?
Well, it's not too much to ask.
That's something that we've not been able to do this season.
Well, it's not too much to ask to get an improvement out of professional footballers who are paid a lot of money, who are supposed to enjoy playing football. It's their job, you know. We want players to improve and put on a performance. Fans coming to Old Trafford, and have been for a long time now. I've been walking here with long faces, you know. I mean, long faces. They're thinking what we're doing here. But you're supporting the club, and they understand it. But they want to be excited. They want improvement. But some of these players have to be improved, or they're out, or other players will come in. That's how I see it, and that's how fans see it. But they know it will take time.
I mean, when you're a top club, all you need to do in a summer transfer window is really bring in 1 or 2 top players just to bring into the squad, just to freshen it up. Manchester United aren't in that position. In my opinion, we need at least 4, maybe 5 players in each summer transfer window for the next 3 years. And, you know, if you're looking at it logically, players you bring in every summer, they're not always going to work out. Just look at the clubs out there. Not every single signing works out over the course of like 3 to 4 years. Normally they're generally sold 1 or 2 of them each season, you know, after like 3 or 4 years. So the recruitment is going to be huge at this football club, and if they do get it right, I mean, hats off to him, because like I say, we're going to need a number of players in here, and they're going to have to be the right profile of players, where they don't just play in one position, they can play in 2 or 3 different positions.
This is all standards going forward. The standards in every department inside this club since Sir Alex Ferguson left has gone down and down and down. They need raising up. The players' standards needs raising up. The staff, their standards, everyone inside United, and we won't achieve anything until you see the standards rise, and someone has to put the whip down and get it sorted out, because the standards need to be. You won't achieve nothing, okay, with standards, but you also won't achieve nothing if you haven't got in that squad 2 players for every position who can go out on that field, right, and perform to a high standard. We've not seen that for a long time. So there's a long way to go, okay? But you definitely need the standards to rise in every department in the club, and you need 2 players for every position of quality.
Diving into the chat, Rob, Always United, I think it was, has gifted 5 memberships.
That's it.
Marcus Stevenson has also gifted 5 memberships, along with, I think it's Fred Gramfin, who has gifted another 5 memberships. So the 15 people who have been gifted them memberships by them absolute free legends, give a big thank you to them, because it's much appreciated. Go check out our members only playlist while you're over there, because there's some decent videos on there, and there will be future content. Also, just a quick buzz for the interview that my dad Tony done with Ryan Giggs this morning. If you've not gone and watched that, then check out on our interview playlist, because it's a cracking interview with everything on United, let's say. All things Manchester United.
Yeah, we got Ryan back on. Not had him on for a while. You know, busy fella, we all know that. And like the others, we used to get them all on the Class of 92, but everyone's busy doing things. We used to get them on regularly, didn't we, when it was COVID and all that. But hey, the life's changed and all that. So getting Ryan on again, had him on a few months ago. Always good value for comment, and he's straight down the line. Excellent person to interview, and excellent to get on with.
One thing I've just remembered, I think I put it in the title, obviously, if you was joining us at the start, we said it was a bit of a rush from getting outside Old Trafford onto the stream, so I'm a little bit behind, but I've seen this earlier on, and obviously it's news on Matheus Cunha. Let me know if you take this with a pinch of salt, though, from this journalist Ben Jacobs, or is he normally reliable with the stuff he comes out with? But he's saying that the likes of Newcastle and Arsenal are in the race, though, for Matheus Cunha. And this is the last thing we want, because you was mentioning only a couple of weeks ago the deals with Cunha and the likes of Liam Delap. You want them done and dusted at the end of this season, so it's ready to be announced as soon as that window opens.
This, to me, is someone who's putting something out to try and get his own headlines to detract from the Europa League final, Tottenham and Man United. He wants to stand out. That's how I look at it. Why wasn't this out yesterday, last night? He's done it. I mean, was it out last night or today? But anyway, last 24 hours, he's put this out. Not been none of it. Of course, Cunha will be looked at by other clubs and that, but to bring it out now is to take it away, put the eyeballs on it as though he's in the know. I take this with a pinch of salt. Cunha is talking to United. I think it's going to be a done deal, and he ain't going anywhere. But I'm also saying other clubs, quite rightly, should have looked at him already. For me, you've not heard the stories of other clubs looking at him 2 months ago, 3 months ago, to all beat United, and I think this man is just sticking his head up there and just trying to change the narrative like they do. You've got to understand, our detractors, okay, they will be out there trying to really give it on United. Any negativity and anything like that, you know, pointing United's league position, they're going to come piling in, trust me. They're not going to be happy. They will not be happy. United with that Europa League. You know, that's your detractors for you. This is another detractor. Not fully on board with all his comments, what he does. I've seen many, and I think to myself, Jacobs,
You just won a round
I
trip
think
to
he's
Baines.
Well, I'm trying to say, I just think he's anti-Man United, and he will just throw anything in, and this is what this is.
That's it. Genghis Khan thinks the same. Ben Jacobs is just a waffle merchant.
That's what I meant to say, instead of waffling on like I just have done.
Yeah, so he's got it bang on there, Genghis. And I think there's also a few people in the chat agreeing with that as well. The dude is deluded. Yeah, people getting him.
Let me tell you this, detractors and all that.
Your eyes and ears out there as well, so we do take notice of what you actually say.
Yeah, when I talk about detractors and that, let's get something straight up here now. Okay? This club will bounce back at some point. It's inevitable. Okay? That's what they're all scared of. They're all scared of Manchester United bouncing back, right? And challenging and being able to compete for the top honours. Okay? Because everyone starts to hate Man United, and they just love it. And they will pile it, like we've all seen. Okay? But we will bounce back. It is inevitable.
Nikos P says, in other news, Barca want Rashford, but haven't got the cash. I think that's also in...
Not having it. Just not having it.
Well, listen, from what I've seen of Barcelona, only in the Champions League this season, I'm looking at their wide players, their forward players, and I'm looking at Marcus Rashford. His performances for Man United and Aston Villa this season, he doesn't need to get on the bench. That's just my opinion on the whole Marcus Rashford Barcelona thing.
Listen, why would Barcelona even comment on Marcus Rashford when they know he's on £375 a week? Okay? And they're saying that he can't afford it. Why would you even say it? Well, that means there's no conversation between the exit and that. And I did say the other day, not a chance.
Mass casualties is my middle name.
Marcus Rashford over Barcelona. And people, and this is your detractors, they're all saying Marcus Rashford, oh, how well he's doing at Aston Villa. I am telling you, with my eye test, right, and I'm telling you it straight, he has been garbage. He's played 20 minutes good football. Deserves Barcelona. Deserves Aston Villa. Nah, not for me. Well, that's me going on again.
Oh, Van Halen.
I was having a good day.
Rashford has been a revelation for Villa.
I don't see it. Okay? I'm even just an old silly kid, right? Doesn't know anything about football. But I look at Rashford there, and I'm thinking, what's he done? A revelation, is he? I'm thinking, you might just try to get me at it.
Hey man, you
Yeah,
do not
I'm
have the heart
ignoring
for
it
this
now.
fight.
Forget Rashford anyway. I'm on a high. The weather's great. Everyone's happy. Forget Rashford. He's not at Man United. He'll just do his own thing. And he'll just wander off in the sunset.
Yeah, just going on what Manny says there. Rashford ain't anywhere close to Barcelona standards, and for me that is facts.
Yeah.
Right there. But let us know what your thoughts and opinions are on what we've discussed today. We're going to end the stream here. I think we're going to go and enjoy some sunshine.
Yes.
We're not going to do a match preview, to be honest with you, for United and West Ham. What is it really? The battle for 17th, to do an actual match preview for it with a smile on our face, trying to get up for it. I mean, let's be honest with ourselves, all eyes and hopefully
that's all the discussion's about. All eyes on it, and all the fans I've spoken to, not interested. Okay, yeah, they're going the game, don't get me wrong, but they're not bothered.
Already
To the start 11, no one knows. Okay, so you just got to wait and see. And I'm too high to talk about it. I don't want to talk about West Ham. Okay, I want to just carry on the day, right? Talking to United fans, getting on with what we're doing, and I can't pick and choose. Listen, the game will be the game. And whatever it is whatever it is. It doesn't matter. And that's what the fans, what have been here, say. That's what they've been saying. It doesn't matter. Let's hope it's a good game. That's what they're saying. And that's what I'm saying. And if it is fantastic.
A lot of fans, I think, especially the second part of the season, have just been coming to the ground expecting the worst, to be honest with you. But it's just more important for a lot of fans to find the soldiers to meet friends and family that they've been doing for a constant number of years now, following Manchester United holding away, and that's been a big aspect of that with the fans coming to Old Trafford. And we've had some decent moments, good moments in the Europa League. Apart from that, there's nothing to be excited about or anything to try and put a positive spin on it, in my point of view. I'm not going to just sit here and push content out for no reason when I'm not really up for it. Main things I'm not going to touch. the normal supporter like yous all out there. So,
and that is exactly how I feel. And he put it a lot better than I did. We're not going to fake enthusiasm for the West Ham game, okay, and speculate, because it is all speculation. I mean, what's Ruben Amorim really going to say, right, to sort of get us excited and all that? I don't know my team, I'm not sure, I've just got to look at him, I've got to rest him, I've got to do... That's all he's going to say. And we're not going to fake it. There's actually no need to do this. Yes, some people might be disappointed. We're sorry about that. But we can't get
Better to be the vulture than the roadkill.
It's all speculation.
one thing is though, we have the game on Sunday.
Yes.
And that will change when that whistle kicks off. Don't you worry about that. Just like a lot of yous out there every single week.
Looking forward to the game. I am looking forward to it, to see what Ruben Amorim does and how he looks at going forward. Will he rest players and all that? But it'd just be speculation. And I don't think so. I'm up for it.
I'm just not up for the game. No. On the day the whistle goes, it's a totally different story.
Oh, different.
Chatting about it, trying to make...
I don't think there's a need for it, is there?
Yeah, if you want to chat about it, though, by all means, please get involved in the chat, because I'm sure a lot of you out there will still do that. But on that note, yeah, we are going to leave you. Smash a like on today's video. We'll be back after the game on Sunday. If you're looking for any more content that you've not seen, check out my dad Tony's reaction, also his video with Webby on last night's game, and also if you've not checked it out, that interview with Ryan Giggs. It's a great interview, a lot of positive feedback already in the comment section. So go and check that out, and we'll be back after the game on Sunday.
Guys fitting for the rough and that is one area where a lot of so much talent
That's another punch you won't be a pain in my ass.
Well, number one has to be the meteoric rise of Henry Pollock. In my opinion, a completely deserved selection, especially after what we saw last Saturday at the Aviva against Leinster.
The interesting thing about Leinster is that it's a fantastic place to discover talent and to let talent grow.
Welcome back, everyone. Have you got your breath back yet? I'm Charles Richardson of the Telegraph Rugby Podcast. It's my pleasure to introduce today one of our esteemed rugby editing cohort, Alan Dimmock, who's going to join me to run through the Lions.
Using wages off the wage bill, which we are going to do this summer, is going to help Manchester United afford to spread payments out for players. Let's not forget, we're getting payments coming in as well. And what's happening here as well, when you look at it, is the fact that Alvaro Fernandez is looking likely to leave. Mason Greenwood is looking likely to move. Two more 100% profit players for Manchester United with their sell-on clauses. You've got that to come in and that to come in. We're going to touch on Marcus Rashford in a minute. But the point that I want to pose as well in this is that if you have got Semenyo and Bumo, you've got Good, you've got Bruno, you've got Ahmad,
Supposed to actually fight the
missed
bullet,
out,
you know?
because then you've got Xerxes, Garnacho and Mason Mount. Three other number 10s. That would leave Manchester United with 7 options in at number 10. 7. Now that is probably a little bit too much. I would love for Xerxes and Garnacho to still be there and be on the bench. What a great combination, great option to have to come on and change the game. It really would be brilliant. I just don't see it happening. And I also think the fact that Manchester United are going to be able to afford these players down to the knowledge and I think clear vision of selling a couple of other players as well, that some people might not like. Some people may think they need to keep hold of, like Garnacho and other players, Mason Mount. I don't think Mason Mount's going, by the way. But I think Mason Mount is quite happy where he is at the moment and coming in and fighting for his position in the team. We are going to sign Cunha. Matthias Cunha, by the way, news has come out, commentators said it. There was a meeting, and Ben Jacobs said it as well, a meeting with Arsenal. I've been told privately, and you've seen it by the commentators as well, Matthias Cunha has told Manchester United to move it to them. He prioritises United. Arsenal don't really stand a chance. They've gone in and they've tested it, as you would. Andrea Berta, the the Director of Football, at Arsenal, formerly of Athletic Madrid, where he worked with before, and was part of selling him on to Wolves. He has made contact, conversations have been had, but he's still 100% guaranteed, and according to the Muppeters, has told Manchester United that he is going to move there. He wants to move to Manchester United. That deal is happening. So United are bringing in Cunha in an already stacked area of 10s, what Manchester United have got on their roster, with Zirkzee coming back, who isn't a 9. Garnacho cannot play at wing back, he can only play at 10. One of them's going to have to drop at least. And Mason Mount there, you have got multiple options. And that is the beauty of it. That's the beauty of everything that Manchester United have got right now. And I think if we do go in with different options into next season in that 10 role, Manchester United will end up scoring more goals, because it's not just a one-trick opponent. Like Ruben Amorim will be able to change shape, will be able to change personnel and the way that he wants to attack. And that, I think, is important for Manchester United, that the variety of attack, rather than being one-dimensional like we are now. But it does come down to Manchester United actually being able to secure another striker, because we know that Rasmus Højlund, yes, he got his goal last night, but we all know the rest of his game was absolutely atrocious. He has got a touch like a trampoline, and he just doesn't look like he knows where to be. Credit to him for his last couple of goals. I said this morning. He was in the 6-yard box against Bournemouth to score, and he was last night, where you'd expect your number 9 to be. And credit to him for that. But honestly, the rest of his game, we are playing with 10 men when it comes to Rasmus Højlund. He's just not good enough, and he's never going to be a number 1 striker at United. I would like to keep him and use him as a backup. I've not got a problem with that. If United can afford it and make it happen, then no issue at all. So it comes down to Liam Delap, because in the other part of that story from Sky, Liam Delap is another player that we already knew Man United wanted. Nearly every single journalist who has got anything about him has said that Liam Delap is Man United's top striker target. But we know that there's massive competition for him. And that's what leads us into the next section of where we're looking at right now. But I want to get some comments in, first of all, now from the live chat on the Mbeumo Semenyo Cunha Delap situation. We're going to move on to another player in just a moment. But first of all, on this, and how is everybody doing, by the way? Hopefully you've enjoyed your Friday. Weekend is here. Anybody going to West Ham? I'll see you there. Adam Zirkzee can play false 9, and Amorim has played that at Sporting, but is he good enough to play false 9? I don't want a hybrid. I want a natural goal scorer. False 9 doesn't work when you don't hit the back of the net. And that's, I mean, look, you're right, Gabe. Like, he could be an option. If you're playing an out-and-out from a 9, and
welcome to Betway Vegas. Follow me. We've got all your favourite casino games to choose from, including weekly new exclusives. Luck fishing. This is fun. Download the Betway app today.
Joshua Zirkzee would have been ahead of Rasmus Højlund at this point, and he'd have been getting game time. And I think Joshua Zirkzee probably would have had an absolute barnstormer of an end to the season. So, yeah, I think that Joshua Zirkzee can 100% play a role for Manchester United going forward. And some. I really do. And I think maybe false 9 might be the one for him. Let's see what we've got. A few more comments coming in, please. Mount better than Nacho. Yep, I agree. Mason Mount is a better player than Garnacho in a moving out system. Garnacho is always going to be a better winger than Mason Mount. It's just not that role that Ruben wants him to play. And that's why Mount is more effective than Ruben Amorim. Not taking anything away from Garnacho's natural ability on the wing. He's having to change his game to fit into Ruben's system, which is why, again, I keep on saying it. I do believe that Garnacho will go this summer. I just think it's just going to be too much for him. I don't think he's going to sit on the bench and see all these other players come in. I really don't. By the way, everybody, I will have a members video going out tonight as well. So if you are a member, a bit of behind the scenes from last night is coming out, the members video later on this evening. And just speaking of that, Orange Samurai has just dropped in 5 new memberships into the house. Thank you very much, my friend. I love that. And again, if you have been given one of them memberships, tune in later on. But first of all, make sure that you give Modern Samurai a big fat thank you in the live chat. If we have Champions League, we need 2 strikers and a lap and another, or Gyökeres, and keep Højlund for a season and see if he can improve. If we cannot get another striker, we cannot afford to lose Rasmus Højlund. As crazy as that sounds, we do need somebody to step in. Somebody has to come in for Rasmus Højlund if we are going to get rid of him. You have to buy 2 or keep him, and Chido come through as well. I would love for it to be Viktor Gyökeres. More stories are coming out that Arsenal are further ahead in negotiations and perhaps he prefers a move to Arsenal. That has come out, so yeah, I'm not. I don't give up on it, and I'm not giving up. It's not so much giving up. I don't think the Osimhen deal is dead in the water either. With Champions League football and that money again, it just makes a huge difference for Manchester United's transfer funds. And I do believe that Manchester United will still be looking at Victor Osimhen. I think he's an option. I think every single striker is an option. We'll talk about another one in a minute and an update on another target United have been linked with before. Now, has anyone talked to that one? Adam, I must say, Kaz knows her stuff. I watch her interview, very knowledgeable. She is indeed, Michelle. She is indeed. Kaz did her fan vlog last night, so make sure you go and watch that if you haven't already. Thoughts on the game last night, straight outside. Right, let's move on to that other news that we were talking about then, because we have got the Rashford update coming up as well, and what Romano said about his potential exit this summer. But before that, we're looking at the lab. We said before, Semenyo, Cunha and Bruno, all 10s, not 9s. The lap's the only 9 of any significance, concrete interest. Now, we have got them flating interest in Osimhen and Gyökeres, like I said, but the lap the only one. But as we know, like Ornstein, like Romano, like every single other journalist and reporter out there have all said, everybody wants the lap because he's 30 million quid. And there is a lot of interest. If United don't get Champions League, the lap is not coming. Again, go back to what I said a couple of days ago. Ruben Amorim coming out and saying he's not spoken to Gyökeres. If a player only wants to come to United because of the Champions League football, United exactly that player. So I don't get that situation in what Ruben said. Match up to fit in terms of what Ruben saying. But if the lad to go, Gyökeres looks like he could go with Arsenal. All of a sudden, Osimhen, we don't know. But what about Hugo Ekitike from Frankfurt? Now, it has just been not now, but Fabrizio Romano has just come out the last few hours and said that Ekitike leaving Eintracht Frankfurt is 100% guaranteed. He's gone. He's going to help them qualify for the Champions League. Now, we thought Champions League football for Frankfurt would have helped them financially and not need to sell Ekitike. Obviously, they sold Marmoush to Manchester City in January, which was a massive fee for them. On top of that, getting Champions League money, they are financially in a very, very good position. But Ekitike wants a move. And this is what it is now. It looks like Premier League is the destination. So, United have to make things with Ekitike. Another £60 million price of that value. And Romano has said that he is definitely
welcome to the suck.
He wants to leave Frankfurt and he will leave at the end of this season. So, you look like a all of a sudden, now it's to a close, and everybody's season's starting to be wrapped up. We're starting to get a little bit more news come out, and Romano has dropped a big one there. It may not be linked directly to anybody, but I feel like this is the most significant bit of news of the day so far, because everything had gone quiet on Ekitike, and everybody thought that Frankfurt